Hey, what's going on, Purple People podcast fans? Welcome to this week's show. It is Tuesday, December 10th, and we're going to go ahead and recap this Lions-Vikings game from Sunday. Got Adam Carlson with me. How are you doing, sir?
I made it this week. I can't guarantee that I'll be around for the entire show because the weather here is not beautiful, but we will see what happens. I'll stick around as long as I can.
Yeah, we're hoping that Adam doesn't get snowed in and then disappear all creepily during the show. That would be not good. Rip this in the search party out for you. Kyle West is here. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Not bad. Not
bad. Cold.
Vikings win is always good. We're going to recap this Detroit game. The Lions came to Minnesota, and we're going to preview the Chargers game, as it says in the preview. If you guys follow us on stuff, I've been trying to add somewhat of a description in there, try to make it easy for everyone. But this is episode number 373, called Happy Golladays. Figured it was kind of appropriate here with the holidays rolling around. Yeah, we can talk about this game. I want to give a shout out to Ryan Denny's in the chat. Michael Cambria is here. Tiffany Stansberry's here. What's up, guys? I'm glad you joined us. It's kind of a no-notice just interruption and start to the show, but it's a good time. I know last week when we went, there were a lot of people asking why we were going so early. So glad we could do it at a little bit later time for more people to join.
Yeah, a lot of you guys are probably at work doing your thing. So now that you're home, hopefully in your footy pajamas, relaxing, you can turn on the podcast and just relax.
Sean Reynolds, what's up, man? He said he sat in section 131 Sunday. It was a blast. I bet the defense was looking pretty good the whole game. It's probably a lot of fun to watch. But going over this game, the Lions came to town. The Vikings won 20-7. I don't think that the Lions scored in the first three quarters, so that was promising. The defense has been a little bit of a bend not break as of late, but that's okay. You know, they're not gonna hold, top defense every single year. That always fluctuates. But if they can stay in the general neighborhood, I think we'll be okay.
I'm a little distracted by your jerseys in the background there. I'm thinking you got to get a Dante Culpepper, maybe a Matt Asiata.
Yeah, two of the players that are on the same caliber and the same class. I got you. We'll get.
But do you get where I'm going with this?
I don't.
Well, you're going to need an Alan Page, maybe a Corey Stringer.
I'm trying. I don't draw a connection here either, Adam. What are you going for?
11, 44, 55, 66.
Okay, so I thought it had something to do with jersey numbers.
Now. Yeah,
but you know what? We'll put 81 in there.
We'll put them backwards, and we can tie this all together with probably at least one of our game balls from this week, Mr. 99 Daniil Hunter.
Not bad.
He was my game ball. That's who I'm giving mine to.
You see Pro Football Focus just pooped all over him?
Yeah, you know what, though? You play who you play. It just happened to be that the starting quarterback was a guy that I don't even remember what his name is. What is it, David Blow or something?
Blau?
Yeah, okay, whatever. You remember that video?
To do not sack the guy because he's inexperienced?
Right. Did you guys watch that video I think I sent to you guys about Jared Allen, where he talks about getting all the sacks in his career? And the easiest one was the Lions quarterback who ran out of the back of the end zone, and he was like, I'll take it. It counts. I'll take it.
Right?
Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah.
Get that one. That was such a funny moment. I like that video that you sent because he said he walked back to the bench and he was talking to the rest of the D-line. He's like, I know these guys are going to be pissed that I'm going to get a sack.
You got credit for it. Yeah.
And you get points off of that, too, so that's cool. Tiffany said, I'm still distracted by your clock, Adam. This is my second podcast, and it's the first thing he looks at. I think you should leave it. I think that should be a staple of the show and your setup from now on.
I even adjusted the camera down a little bit so I wouldn't get as much of it. I pushed it back, and it's still just ticking and talking back there. My mom and dad were obsessed with clocks. There's clocks everywhere, and I've cut down on about half the clocks, but there's still way too many clocks.
Do they all chime like every 15 minutes to half hour?
I'd say there's about 5 chimers, and I've taken care of 3 of them. because I don't like the chimers.
No, not at all.
No one under the age 65 likes clocks that chime. No one.
But yeah, getting back to Danielle Hunter, I thought they unfairly talked about Danielle Hunter not getting pressures because Blau was just oblivious to the pocket. Hunter's pressures weren't in his face, but what they did do is they contained him and allowed other players to get pressures, blocking off an entire side or even the back end of the pocket so that he couldn't back up anymore. I really feel like Pro Football Focus was splitting hairs there and just wanted to take a little bit of a controversial approach to a player who had a nice day statistically.
Yeah, I don't like that at all either. If you throw for if you're a quarterback against an awful defense, you still throw for 4 touchdowns. Like if you're a defensive player and you go after the quarterback, even though it's this guy who, you know, it still counts. He's still an NFL quarterback. You play who you play.
Yeah, for sure. I like the positive spin on it is he's getting national attention. The NFL's Instagram page gave him some love today in one of those cartoon characterized things, you know, a picture of him that looks like it was drawn by pencil or pen. But it's youngest player to 50-plus sacks, and he's getting attention. Saw Latavius Murray commented on there, giving, you know, former teammates giving him love. And I think it's about time that he's a household name. I mean, we were talking about him, to our credit, to the Purple People podcast horn a little bit. We were baffled that he wasn't starting and got 12 sacks that one season, and he wasn't a starter. So we kind of figured, okay, this guy might be good. So we were all in support of the contract that he got earlier. You know, usually a little bit early than what we're used to seeing, but he's getting national attention. And kudos, man, he's been nothing but a wrecking ball since he's got here.
Yeah, I understand the criticism. You'd want him to excel a lot against a defense that struggles to protect their quarterback, but I don't know what they want him to do. If he'd have gotten 5 sacks but not gotten a lot of other quarterback pressures during that game, would they still be saying the same thing?
Yeah,
that's what I don't understand.
It's like the Treadwell touchdown. What is it in the Seattle game? Where was he supposed to not catch it and run in and score? I don't know. He's doing his job.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't.
Speaking of Treadwell, I am loving having him back. He seems like a very different player under this tenure with the Vikings. And I keep telling people a lot that he has been a pleasant surprise since returning. And I've gotten kickback about that on Twitter. People saying he's not a pleasant surprise. He's a first-round pick. No, he's not. Now he's a free agent acquisition.
Yeah. It's true, Adam. I'm right with you on this one. I think ever since they brought Laquan back to the team, I think he's been playing really pretty well for us. Like you said, you kind of remove the expectations at this point. You're like, you can't really, at least I don't hold on to, he was a first-round pick, he should be doing better, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know what, man? He's contributing. And I think that's kind of what we always wanted from him. And so that's a nice thing to have. And he is a good blocker out there too.
Yeah, and you got BC doing some things, and you got them designing really horrible delayed tight end screens that those need to be either taken out of the playbook or just redesigned. Because those did not
I didn't
work.
like any of those except the one that Rudy caught where he was kind of a decoy. That was really cool. That was super, but you were right. That's a super late break that he got there. Yeah, let's go ahead and run into it. So Ryan Denny says he gives his game ball to Treadwell. Kyle said he's going to give his to Danielle Hunter. Yeah, absolutely. And I expect at least one of us to give it away. I'm giving mine to BC Johnson. He's like 5'0", and he jumped about 10 feet in the air to catch that touchdown. And I'm just happy that he's getting a little bit more time. You know, Adam Thielen's out, so he's doing the best he can. We all know BC Johnson's no Adam Thielen, but make the most of the opportunity, especially when you put points on the board. So I give my game ball this week to BC Johnson.
That was a poster moment for him. He's going to have that blown up on his wall, and people are going to be asking him to sign that because that was a nice play.
Shout out to Rick Spielman and the rest of the scouts on this team. The Vikings, the last draft class that we had, full of players who have been contributing all season long. From early round through Odabisi Johnson,
offense, defense, special teams, all over.
Offense, defense, special teams. Like, we've got 7th round wide receivers out there making plays for us. So a big shout out to those guys for we give them a lot of flack because it's early. It's easy to do that, but you don't always give them the credit they deserve. And I think that this has been a really nice draft class for the Vikings.
I think I have to piggyback on that, man, because you got to give a shout out to the coaches too, because look at the Vikings wide receiver core as a whole. I'm gonna ride what Adam said just for a second. Yeah, he was a former first-round pick, but now he's a free agent acquisition. So you got a free agent in Laquan Treadwell, an undrafted guy in Adam Thielen, a 5th rounder in Diggs, a 7th rounder in BC Johnson. What round was Chad Beebe?
I don't believe he was drafted.
So, I think Beebe was undrafted.
Yeah, so there you go. Look at that. It's pretty much a cast of, on paper, if you didn't see him before, no names.
The island of misfit toys.
The talent is definitely there, but there's a lot of coaching there that has to be going on to say, hey, look, man, I know that these are big shoes to fill, but go out and do your thing. Just go ball. And that, to the coaches' credit, they've all done that. You have to give a shout out to the coaches there too.
For my game ball, I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins. He might not have had the number of touchdowns he wanted to have in this game. The scoreboard for the Vikings might not have lit up the way it was, but what he did was he ran an efficient offense, moved the ball when he needed to, took calculated shots that he connected with. It was a high accuracy game where he made sure that the Vikings weren't going to lose it themselves, whether it be with putting the ball on the ground or interceptions. Every chance that he took, every gamble he took, was one that he felt the Vikings had a great chance at converting. You didn't see a lot of one-on-one 50-50 balls. Every pass that he made, especially to his 11 different receivers, was it?
I'll count them up. Just amazing.
I believe it was 11 because somehow Garrett Bradbury snuck in there with one.
If you count Bradbury, I'm looking at 12, but that we'll leave that up. We talked about that.
One had 0 receptions, right? 1 target, 0 receptions.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I've never heard of that kid until this game. So credit to them, man.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, because who is that guy? Why is he in the game? What's going on?
Because Garrett Bradbury can't play tight end and center at the same time. That's why. I don't know anything about this kid. Let me click.
Yeah, what was his name?
It's pulling up right now. Excuse my internet. Alexander Hollins.
I'd heard that he was on the active roster, and I thought, oh well, he's going to be one of those players that is constantly on the list each week for not being active. And nope, he was active and he got game time. With the Vikings having several wide receivers, I think, but they have 4 other wide receivers available, and then 3 tight ends. I didn't figure he'd see the field, but hey, why not?
He was active last week against the Seahawks too. This is crazy. There's no way you would notice this kid walking down the street. He's 6'1" and 170 pounds. So he's very thin. He's very lean. He's only 23 years old. Yeah, I never heard of him. I'm going to keep my eye out for him, though. You never know who he might turn into.
It's true. The Vikings have a habit of taking these players and making things work out all right.
Rod, thank you. I don't have anything Diggs, so I had to get this. I've had it for a little while, but obviously the weather didn't cooperate. So now it's time to wear this every day and be obnoxious.
Yeah, you in there. What do you have? 50 degrees there, 60 degrees, something like that?
Okay, today was actually 50 degrees, but last week it was in the 20s, nice and slushy. I won't even call it snow. A little bit of sleet and ice. So
-6 here, so it's hoodie weather.
How much? How cold?
-6 right now.
Oh, only -6. Gotcha. Guys, I'm having a hard time picking a donkey for this game. I didn't get to watch the full game. I got to watch about 80% of it. I was watching it on my phone and driving back from good old Massachusetts, so I didn't get to see it a lot.
The one thing that I found interesting that I kind of want to figure out a way to give a donkey with is it seemed like the Vikings started punishing Xavier Rhodes by having a weird rotation of cornerbacks come out. And in that cornerback rotation, Holton Hill started getting some more looks. So I'm starting to wonder, is Xavier Rhodes coming into the doghouse a little bit while Holton Hill's kind of like crawling out a little bit?
Wow, that's a good take.
Yeah, I think so, Adam.
Here's the thing. For that, we don't have a Jalen Ramsey on this squad. I think if you have anybody in the backfield defensively, it's Harrison Smith, but obviously he's not a corner. So you don't have anybody at the corner position that's on that level that Harrison Smith's on. But we've got depth at that position. I wouldn't say that it's A+. We have some A minuses, maybe some A's there. B+ guys. Why not give them a chance? I mean, Xavier's size is
we have some guys.
Yeah, now here's a guy. But no, we have guys at that position.
Here's a guy.
Trey Waynes did an amazing job tackling in this game. He did not allow many yards after the catch at all. Alexander played well in coverage. Not a lot of footballs thrown his way. When Holton Hill came in, it was kind of mixed a little bit, but he did a solid job. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of this rotation every now and then just to keep the corners fresh and to just, I don't know, to give the defenses something a little bit different.
You know what? I'll say something based off of just blindly hearing this and not getting to see a lot of it in person, but I think if you're going to make a defensive adjustment and do something that's different going down the stretch, we have 3 regular season games left, and then the postseason, hopefully we're still in it right now. We would be at the Saints based on the shakeup this weekend. I think this is a formula for success. And it's not a slight against Xavier Rhodes, even though he's easily had the worst season of his career. I think this would be very, very good. And for those reasons you mentioned, keeping those bodies fresh and kind of spicing it up for the defense, why not? I like this rotation. I like this idea a lot.
And this rotation isn't going to last for long because after this season, unless the Vikings can figure out something financially, Trey Waynes is going to be gone and Mackenzie Alexander is going to be gone. And those are 2 of my favorite cornerbacks on this team.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're not going anywhere, but somebody else might. Maybe one.
Mackenzie Alexander's
salary cap is going up.
That's true.
Salary cap is going up, though, so that'll help out a little bit. But yeah, they've got to do some restructuring.
Adjustment's going to be, because each year that salary cap makes a little bit of an adjustment, and the last couple of years it's been somewhere between 7 and 11 million, and that's enough to sign at least one guy. And with the salary cap magic, who knows?
Yeah, I got an update today.
There was some notification. Yeah. It's going to increase again. 2020 cap projected to be in the range of 196.8 million to 201.2 million.
So it's at 5 mil?
I don't know what it currently is.
I don't know, but it's an increase anyway. And the Vikings are in that point now where they got to start thinking, is it time to extend Kirk Cousins? Do we want to extend Kirk Cousins? Mm-hmm. Which right now, earlier this season, I would have said, I don't know, maybe wait and see. But now that we've seen good Kirk for some weeks, it's like, yeah, okay.
I still think it's a tad.
Let's see what Kirk does. Let's see what Kirk does come playoff time.
I don't know. Those Rams are
that's where
up.
Kirk Cousins. Well, yeah.
I don't think we should pull the trigger this early. You still have a full season left, and let's be real. He's with us next year no matter what. So unless he decides to walk away, which I don't think he's going to do that, he's going to be with us regardless next year. Maybe around mid-season next year we talk about extensions because we have to see how this all plays out. We could make it to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. We can make an early, ugly exit. There's still a chance right now that we don't even make the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's still a possibility. I don't know, man. This is definitely something that we can talk about during the offseason and how we feel about it. Because you're right. Earlier in the season, I was ready to cast this guy off into the desert and never look back. So,
yeah, it's going to be very telling at the draft. Mm-hmm. What we're going to do is we're going to see if the Vikings take a quarterback early. If they take one in the first 2-3 rounds, they might be looking at a player to stick around for a year, learn, and then maybe take over. But I don't know. Right now, I think the Vikings have to do what they can to keep Kirk around because it seems to be working, especially with this new blocking scheme and the new offense kind of evolving. I like what they're doing, and I think that's finally starting to click a little bit.
My question for you guys and everyone that's watching, Oh, we have 9 people on now. That's cool. Everybody that's listening to us now, would you rather keep Kirk around and do what you know is working right at the moment, or would you rather go draft a quarterback next year or the year after and get more pieces around and have a little bit extra money to play with? There's obviously pros and cons to each, but I'd like to hear what people think in the chat, especially what you would do if you could play GM for a day, because I don't know, man. I like Kirk. I have nothing against him. I think that going the cheaper route, you could find somebody else and just work around. That's the thing. You've got to work around what the quarterback is really good about. Like Baltimore, they took a flyer on Lamar Jackson. They didn't know that he was going to be the MVP, but they've coached around what his skill set is.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people were surprised too when the Chiefs traded a lot to go up and get Mahomes.
He wasn't a big known name in college. I mean, you heard of him, but he wasn't. He certainly wasn't making waves like Baker Mayfield.
The one thing I know for sure is that this Vikings team, they need a better insurance policy behind Kirk Cousins, because I'm worried every time he gets knocked down.
It's bad. It's
real bad.
It's always bad, and the worst part is too when you know there's a clear and huge drop off. You become one dimensional, and that's not how you win championships. It's not how you win key crucial games. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen.
These other teams that have these backup quarterbacks that just have career games when they get an opportunity. And it's just confusing because I don't think the Vikings have had that guy for a couple of years now.
I would agree with that. I don't know. Do we give out donkeys? Or are we skipping those? I don't have anything. I was pretty impressed the way through. Nothing too crazy. I was hoping for a shutout. That would have been fun, but they sacked the quarterback a lot again, much like last year.
Well, what I saw on Twitter and on Facebook a lot was a lot of fans thinking that this game was one that wasn't the most thrilling. And I'll agree with that for some point. If you're not
it was not thrilling.
If you're not a fan of low-scoring games, some defensive pressures and stuff like that, yeah, it's not going to be the game for you, and that's okay. It's like I hate to quote Aaron Rodgers a little bit, but you got to take ugly wins even from here on out. A win is a win, whether it's pretty or ugly or whatever, however it is. The Vikings grinded this game out. They came out. Their goal was to play efficient football, not turn the ball over, and they knew that if they didn't make mistakes and played their own brand of football, they were going to get a win. That's exactly what we saw happen.
No, Scott. No. Bad Scott. Down.
Eli Roth is head coach.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Be some bloody good plays.
I think that Eli's about 2 years past worth bringing in. God, the Giants stuck by him way longer than they had.
I got to talk about that game for a second because I got a notification on my phone. It says Eli propels the Giants to halftime lead. You know, can he win his job back? I'm like, okay. I turn the game back on, and Eli just plays like poop.
Yeah, 30 yards of offense in the second half, guys. if you missed that game, good. You didn't miss out on much. I couldn't sleep last night, so I ended up finishing watching, and it was unfair. And the other thing that sucks too, since we're on the Eli Manning subject, is the guy's going to go maybe into the Hall of Fame. Probably not first ballot if he does, but he's
going in the Hall of Fame
with a losing record. He's going to go in with a losing record after last night. He's got one more loss in his career that he has,
and he'll still have better stats than Troy Aikman.
Woo! That's crazy, man. I just wanted to see because I'm not a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles in any way. I was kind of hoping to see Eli pull one out, and it looked like it was going to for the first 2 quarters. But Carson Wentz and the Eagles and some really good play calls, that didn't happen at all. The Eagles marched down over time and scored pretty quickly. So, but anyways, I don't have a donkey. I just want to. I don't even know if we're going to read all the stats here. Kirk was good. 1 touchdown, no picks. Overall rating of 111.4. Dalvin Cook had an okay day. Nothing that's going to break the bank, but 18 for 62 and a touchdown. Madison continues to look great on the ground, 14 for 46.
On a side note, wasn't it awesome to see that Alexander Madison got to show off some of his high school hurdling skills?
Yeah, there were 2 Vikings in this game that are going to have pictures that they're going to autograph for years to come. That hurdle was sweet.
Yeah, you can tell by his form, too, that he was not a stranger to those kind of jumps.
I'm with you, Scott. I wanted Eli to win, too, mostly because I hate the Eagles, but that's fine.
I just want to see how bad the NFC East could end up. It's like, okay, which one of you has the worst record right now? I want you to win, then.
I'm not even mad that they're going to send them into the playoffs.
Yeah, you are. Yes, you are.
No, listen. I'm okay with it. I understand why, but they shouldn't be hosting the game. You lose that privilege when you don't win as many games as you lose. That's stupid. That's so dumb. They shouldn't host the game. Like, the Cowboys are an all right team. They're a little above average, but
the Cowboys Stadium's real nice.
Yeah, that's about it. But they shouldn't be hosting the game. Like, I forget who it is. I don't know who's going in there. Right? Is it the Niners? No, they won. So the Niners are 1. Green Bay is 2. So we would go to Green Bay. The Seahawks. The Seahawks are going to go in there and murder the Cowboys. They're going to murder the Cowboys. Are you kidding me? Oh.
I've been hearing, too, these rumors about what Dak's contract is going to be like. And
they're so Jerry Jones is the worst owner. Oh, my God, he's terrible. He's so bad. He's single-handedly ruining that team that he owns.
I sent you guys a picture of the Wilfs coming through after that win, and Ziggy Wilf's face was just priceless. I love how excited and happy he is after a win. He goes around, he walks through that tunnel, high-fives all the fans and everything. It's just awesome.
Sorry, Tiffany, I had to give you the correct info. Scott said noon Central. They actually play at 4:05 Eastern. They're going to be in the middle slot of games.
Yep, late afternoon game.
On CBS.
Because they got flexed out of prime time so people could watch the Steelers?
Hey, I'm not going to lie.
Question?
I heard it on a lot of I feel like, was it Pro Football Talk, Chris Sims? I like those guys a lot. Mike Tomlin might win Coach of the Year. Have you seen? They just throw in people at quarterback and wherever this year, and they're going to make the playoffs.
Don't they have a guy named Buck or Duck or something like that
Duck
now?
Hodges. Duck Hodges is going to play quarterback.
I was going to go through other rhyming words, but I figured this is a family program.
Yeah. This is a family show here. They've had some controversy this year. They're on like their 4th quarterback, their 2nd running back. They don't have Lev Bell or Antonio Brown, no Big Ben, and they're going to be in the playoffs in that crappy AFC conference. Ugh.
It's bad. Yet the NFC North has 3 teams right now that look like each of them could be playoff teams. And I'm counting the Bears for some reason.
Yeah, the Bears are still in it. They're surging right now, which is going to make that last Week 17 game. It's going to be, nerve-wracking. The Rams have kind of gotten it together the last month. I think they're 3-1 in the last 4 games, and they're 1 game behind us. So the Vikings really have to hold on here. They need to win out to guarantee anything. That'll be an absolute. But none of these games are give-me's. We can kind of – I'm not going to run down the stats from the Detroit game. It was, like you said, pretty boring all around. But I can tell you the Chargers, every game that they've lost this year has been a touchdown or less. They've been in every game. Their defense is nasty. Phillip Rivers doesn't look good, but they've got some really good players on both sides. And this is not going to be an easy game at all. Not at all.
No. The Vikings are undefeated at home. Sadly, this is a road game. They're going all the way out to the coast. I don't like a lot of that when that happens. I actually would have almost preferred this to be a primetime game. But I will not be able to watch this game. So if you guys are on the Discord and doing whatever you're doing, I won't be around to help you guys out and to BS. Hopefully either Mr. Smith or Mr. West will be able to hop in there and BS with you. But I will be in Minneapolis because I'm going to be watching the WWE TLC pay-per-view.
That is awesome. Good for you, man.
Cool.
Yeah, I decided to head down there because Friday they're doing a guided tour of the Vikings Museum with Vikings Legends. And I got to go and do that with my Vikings rewards points. If you aren't signed up for that, you probably should because that's a pretty awesome thing.
And by the way, Vikings reward points.
One of the items that is going to be going to our Survival League winner is one that I got from Vikings Rewards.
Very nice. We'll do an update at the end of the show, by the way, because somebody is out this week.
Somebody is.
Thanks a lot, Houston. Yeah, asshole. Go into New England. Was it in New England or was it in Houston? They beat the Patriots last week, and then they lose to the Broncos. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, 4 people left. It's getting down there. One is me, and like I said, I'm not going to keep the prizes, so I'm pretty much just a lame duck trucking along, and I probably should start throwing some of these games here at some point. I know one of them is my buddy Clint, who is a really big Vikings fan, participates on a lot of message boards and stuff like that. So he's not a regular listener of the podcast. He catches it once in a while, so he probably won't listen to this one. So maybe he'll win. Maybe it'll be one of the other two. We'll have to wait and see.
I wanted to answer this. This is how much we've been along on this show and everything. You asked where Dorian had disappeared to. I actually talked to him over the weekend to say hi. Dorian has a little bit of work issues and a little bit of connectivity issues with his phone and at home. So he gracefully stepped down, but we still keep in touch with him, man. We love that guy to death. And if you go on his personal page, you can friend him, Dorian Foley. I don't know if he'll accept. I'm kind of throwing his Facebook around in there. He's a really nice guy, but I get my Viking updates from his page because he's watching the game every week.
Yeah. He's also he's not very active on Twitter either, so sometimes he'd be a tough guy to get a hold of. But I've seen some pictures of him lately. He's been visiting some studios, talking about wrestling and stuff like that. So yeah,
we love Dorian, man. We do. He's a good guy. He's a good guy, and we like having him on. He'll probably fill in at a later point in date, I'm sure. But a lot of scheduling too. This is the other part about the show. I'm in New York. Adam's in Minnesota. Kyle's in Iowa. And Dorian was in California. So scheduling that is a big factor too. But yeah, Dorian's our friend, man. We love that guy to death. I want to go back to the Charger game real quick. As I said, we're 9-4. They're 5-8. The spread here is 2.5 to the Vikings. That's it. There's only a 53.1% chance. And this is just on the matchup predictor that we're going to win. The Vikings are not really good on the road. I said it last week, and I don't remember where I heard it from. I want to say it was Pat McAfee of some sort. I can't remember where he was at. I want to say it was him, but I could be wrong. Could be misquoting. But the Vikings are 0-18-1 outside on their last road games. So if they're outside, obviously they're not going to be outside at home, but they're outside games. They usually don't win them, which is annoying.
Well, let's talk for a second too, because home games for the Chargers this year aren't really home games either.
Yeah, true.
This is almost like a neutral playing site.
The other part of that too is you got to think about they have an NFC and an AFC team. The Chargers were not. They were in the playoffs last year. They were a very good team, but the Rams went to the Super Bowl. You got to think about LA. LA's their number one thing isn't sports there in that city. So they kind of pick a team and go with the hot hand. The Chargers are not as good as the Rams yet again this year. It's not really the Chargers stadium. That's how I feel about it. But
that never
travel kind of far. But I'm excited to watch this game. I think this will be a good underrated test. I don't like that it's on the road. I think they have a lot of playmakers on the defense. They've got a great wide receiver. Keenan Allen's very, very good.
That running back duo is scary.
Oh, yeah. Eckler and Gordon are very good. Gordon's taken a step back from his holdout, but still a very good duo. They're a good team. Don't let the record fool you. This is a very, very good team.
And Derwin James will be back, right? He'll be playing.
Yeah, Derwin James came back last week, I believe. He's such a good safety. Such a good player. Yeah, this will be fun. Like we said, 4:05 Eastern on CBS this Sunday. Rooting for the Vikings. I think it'll be a close one. I think they'll win by 4. I'm going to say 27-23. I just have a feeling. Be close. That seems like Chargers territory and purgatory. Every week they're down by a touchdown with no timeouts and like 50 seconds to go. So we'll see.
You guys know that I just never have faith in Phillip Rivers, right? I never do.
Yeah, correct.
I feel bad for the guy.
He'll have those games where he throws for 450 and 4 touchdowns. Then he'll come back with a 200-yard, 4 interception game, and you're just like, are these the same guy? He's
that's how I feel about Matthew Stafford too.
Yeah, actually he's a great example. I think he's a little better than Matt Stafford because he's always in the conversation, and statistically, I think top 5 every year for yardage. Which you'd be like, man, he's throwing it all over the field. A lot of that's garbage time.
Yeah,
right. We're down by 30 points. Let's go throw it a bunch.
Yeah, I don't think Matt Stafford gets enough of the recognition he really deserves, but especially considering that organization didn't do much to get talent around him other than Calvin Johnson, of course. But wow, I just wish that they'd have done a little bit more with him and that organization, because I feel bad for Lions fans. I do. No Super Bowl appearances. I understand if you make it to the Super Bowl and you come up a little bit short, but their fans never even got to hear about a Super Bowl. They got to watch it every year knowing that their team just isn't going to be there.
Those are true fans, man.
And all these teams that are getting mathematically eliminated from the playoffs already, it's just to be that fan base and this early in the season to know that your team is playing for nothing. They're been a while since I felt that way as a Vikings fan. I think the last time the Vikings were mathematically eliminated that early, I think it was back in the Ponder days, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 3-13 Ponder's rookie year, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, that's brutal.
They're playing for a new coach. I guess that's cool.
I feel good that I criticized that coach hiring now because I felt like I was going to get a lot of resistance on that.
That's crazy, too. It's crazy. That's a crazy testament to New England because they brought in New England players, and it just doesn't work outside of that stadium and that team. It doesn't.
No, and New England still has one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah.
They lost nothing.
It's annoying. We'll see how that goes. They're in a scandal again, so we'll see how that turns out.
So 3 games left in the regular season. There are still a ton of scenarios that could happen. The Vikings holding on to one of those playoff spots really tightly right now. They don't want to let go. Bears nipping at their heels. They've got the Rams just looking to sneak in there. And, of course, they still have a chance of winning the NFC North, but they need a little bit of help. They need to beat the Green Bay Packers and then see what else shakes out.
Yeah, let's look at this really quick. So we're at the 6th seed right now, and as of this, so if you guys didn't see, the game of the year happened this weekend, in my opinion. The 49ers and the Saints, they have 2 vaunted defenses, and
Why is the game of the year always an offensive shootout? Why isn't it ever just like a defensive juggernaut smash game?
You know
it's
what?
Always the highest scoring affairs.
Here, because if it was like that every week, we would get so sick of that so quick. There's one. This is the Chiefs Rams from last year. It was really good. The Niners went into the Superdome and they beat New Orleans, which is crazy because I saw the Drew Brees played a really good game. Yeah, I think the Niners, barring Seattle winning the division and just it being a division kind of thing, and they could upset them because they know them and play them so often. I think the Niners can make it to the Super Bowl like pretty handily. I don't know. But going back to the NFC North, the Packers are in first place right now. They have a game lead on us. They have all division games for the rest of the season. So they host the Bears this Sunday, and then they have 2 road games at the Vikings, at the Lions. So
Vikings Bears, who do you want to win? Do you want the Bears to beat the Packers so that the Packers or the Vikings have a better chance of winning the division, or do you want the Packers to beat the Bears so that there's a little bit more distance for the wild card spot?
No, I want us to win the division. I want the Bears to go in there and upset. I like that the Bears are surging. I like that the Packers have kind of cooled off. I want the Bears to beat the Packers. I always want the Packers to lose. So I'm good with it. I don't like that they have a bye right now, too. I don't think that they're worthy. I don't think that they're better than the Saints. I don't like that. I think they need to come back down to earth.
There's so many teams in the NFC that could make so much noise in the playoffs this year. It's not as lopsided at all as the AFC. AFC, you have 3 teams that, if it is anyone other than those 3 teams representing the conference in the Super Bowl, it will be an absolute surprise.
Yeah, the AFC will be fun to watch for teams like Buffalo. Buffalo should get in. I'm not really excited about the Steelers. I like the Texans. The Chiefs are great. the Patriots are very boring this year because they don't have. They should call Antonio Brown right now and get him on the team again.
But it's going to be Chiefs, Pats, or Ravens in the Super Bowl. It's going to be one of those three.
Absolutely. It's definitely going to be one of those three. Probably the Ravens, but I'd like to see the Chiefs get in there. Honestly, though, minus Dallas, we could see any other of these NFC teams just making a run.
Oh, absolutely.
They've done it already this year. They went on a 4-0 tear on the second quarter of the season.
And why not Dallas? Dallas looked like a Super Bowl team earlier in the year. If they could return to that form, they were scary.
They were good. I wasn't a big fan of the schedule argument until I noticed they weren't playing anybody, and I'm like, maybe that is the thing. The Niners look really scary on both sides. The Saints look really good. Wouldn't be surprised if they went to the Super Bowl. The NFC's stacked. I'm just glad that the Vikings have kind of separated themselves. This is already a better season than last year. We still have 3 games left. But this is good because this is our last road game, and we get to finish out at home. So that'll definitely help us out. I like our chances at home.
Yeah, if you haven't been to US Bank Stadium, it's definitely worth checking out. It's a great place to catch a Vikings game. But if you have to catch a game on the road, you might as well catch the Vikings anyway. It really is. US Bank Stadium is just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening. I'm going next year.
Now, Kyle, you've gone on the tour, but you haven't gone to a game, right?
Yeah, I got a chance to tour it, but I haven't been able to catch a game yet.
Because, yeah, they got to take you, like, inside the locker room and everything onto the field and all that, right?
Yeah. They actually just opened the doors up and were like, you guys can walk around the stadium. It wasn't like a tour or anything. They were just like, if the doors are unlocked, you can go into it. So, yeah, we just kind of, like, walked around and are like, where does this door go? I don't know. Let me open it up and see. It was kind of cool. Kind of weird that for, like, a stadium that was just built for them to be like, whatever, just go into it. We don't care.
That's a lot of fun. I mean, I've only been on the outside of Lambeau Field, but even just being near Lambeau Field, you can kind of feel a lot of the history from that place. I've never been down to Soldier Field either, but yeah, I've never gone to an away football game. And I don't know if I really want to be honest. I keep hearing all these horror stories about things that happen when fans of opposing teams visit stadiums, and it's not pretty.
Right.
That's why I'm glad that most Vikings fans are a little bit better than that. There's always a rowdy bunch that ruin it for everybody, but I think for the most part, Vikings fans are pretty civil.
You know, say what you will about Vikings Packers, but like their fan base is fairly classy in regards of like we don't get into fist fights with Packer fans when we go to I feel like we could go to Lambeau Field and
there'll be a lot.
There
of
will be,
talking,
but it's
nobody's going to throw batteries at you or
full cans of beers when you have
exactly.
Oh
yeah,
just ugly stories. The worst I heard is that there was a fist fight in US Bank Stadium. I think that's the worst I heard.
This is great. Andrew, you made it. We're almost done, but you made it. We talked about the Detroit game, and we're previewing the Charger game coming up.
And we always get a little bit off topic. It happens.
Talked a little bit about Danielle Hunter and him making history, and then just previewing this Chargers game. I hope it's not a trap game. I think they'll play up to par, but we'll see.
Pro Bowl voting still open. Go get your votes in.
I voted for Kirk Cousins this year. I did.
It's going to be tough for Kirk to get in the NFC. It really is. Which is strange because we're going to get Drew Brees in there. Drew Brees is going to be in. Aaron Rodgers is going to be in. Those two guys are going to be in based on their name alone. Cowboys fans are going to be voting like heck for their quarterback. And there's only going to be, I think there's only 3 quarterbacks that are going to be representing the NFC. So it's going to be tough for Kirk to make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, there's always that bias of familiarity, number one. But if you're going to look and see, like, who was the best quarterback? Kirk was the best quarterback for at least half the season. And that's not even in the conference. That's the NFL. We're talking about rating. We're talking about not turning the ball over, all this stuff. But he's not I think this, if he has another year like this next year, it definitely would. I'm agreeing with you. This is just one of those years where instead of people talking crap, they kind of just back off and they kind of just let him do his thing. If he has another year like that, maybe they'll start giving him a little more respect. But this is definitely a shocking year compared to years past when people had a lot of ammo to use against him.
I do think this will be the first year that Eric Kendricks gets a little bit more love. I think he'll be a Pro Bowl player, and he deserves to be with everything he's got. As I've said before in my article that I wrote over on the Viking Age, Danielle Hunter will get in. I think Everson Griffin's not. I don't think they're going to be able to get both Vikings defensive ends in there because that'd just be... It's just unlikely. But yeah, do you guys have any like surprise players you think are going to make it to the Pro Bowl for the Vikings?
Nothing.
Jeff Saturday, I think, is going to make it.
You know, him making it this year is almost as bad as the year that he made it the year that he did when he was in Green Bay, because that was just bad.
Yeah.
The backup offensive lineman gets voted in. Just ridiculous. The one that I think people should keep an eye on is I'm wondering whether or not CJ Ham is going to get in. Ham, of course, always been doing a lot of blocking in the backfield. This year, he's gotten a little bit more notoriety by making some nice catches, maybe getting a little bit more yardage.
That's a good one. I think Scott Blob has it down. That's actually a good one. Wilson for sure.
It's going to be Wilson, Breeze, and Rodgers.
I could see them going.
It's going to be Wilson, Breeze, Rodgers.
Yeah, probably. I hate that I agreed with you on that.
But who knows? Maybe when Aaron Rodgers is in the Super Bowl, it'll be Kirk Cousins as an alternate.
They're not going to the Super Bowl. That's one thing that we can rest our heads on. With that shellacking that they got in San Francisco, they're not going to the Super Bowl. Hell, I don't even think they'll beat the Seahawks or the Saints for that matter. That's just me though. I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah, but you're forgetting this is the 100th year of the NFL, and Green Bay is a historic franchise. So the fix is in. The NFL wants the Packers in the Super Bowl because that's a good story.
That's a terrible story. I awarded no points. 0 stars.
That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
God,
guarantee it.
I hope not. Ugh. You know what? If they do go, I hope it is. I hope they play the Ravens. That way the Ravens will win 48-7. That'd be great.
That just reminds me of how much the Packers struggled to cover some of the other running quarterbacks over the years. They couldn't stop Colin Kaepernick back when Kaepernick was playing his best football. And Kaepernick was half the thrower that Lamar is.
Right.
But yeah, we're getting off topic a little bit, but we do hope that the playoffs will be interesting. There are some different routes the Vikings could take to get there. We'll have to watch a little bit more as that happens to see how things start shaking out, because, as I've said before, there's only really 2 ways the Vikings can get in: winning the division and grabbing one of those wild card spots. And right now, they're holding on to one of them wild card spots and looking to fight off the people below them while moving up. So we're going to have to see to watch the Packers, see if they get wins and losses on the way through. Whether you're going to be like Kyle Smith and root for the Bears and hope to take the division, or whether you're going to root for the Packers to win so that the Bears back off a little bit. I don't know. But all I know is that if the Vikings can get in the playoffs, I think this is going to be a pretty successful year. I don't know if the Vikings are going to make a deep run. But even just being there after last year is a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Anything. There's just such an X factor to this season. We're just talking about the Survival League update. I mean, for God's sake, Houston beats the crap out of New England, and then they lose to the Broncos. I don't get it, man. The Vikings look like crap the first 4 games this year, and they've absolutely solidified themselves in the postseason conversation now.
Isn't it weird how much doom and gloom there was at 2-2?
Oh, I know. I was the conductor of that train. I was leading the front for that.
Smith, that episode that you and I did, where we just absolutely trashed Kirk Cousins. Yeah, we were ready to be like, this season is done. Yeah, yep.
Scott makes a great point. As of right now, the race to the playoff is what can we do to play the Cowboys? Especially if we get Adam Thielen back. Good luck, Cowgirls, in any way of stopping that. That's one of the things I'll end my part of the show on. The fact that this team, obviously Dalvin Cook's the MVP and definitely the offensive player of the year. I think that we can all agree on that. But the fact that Thielen's been gone for pretty much the whole season says a lot that we can still find ways to win because he's a huge missing piece. So ready for that guy to come back.
I've missed him. That's for sure.
Please.
And yeah, I like Stephon Diggs. He can do quite a bit. It was nice that Diggs didn't have a couple of those mental errors that he's had in the past couple of weeks during this game. I hope that he can be a little bit more efficient like that going down the stretch. But there is that depth at wide receiver, which I wasn't sure existed with these undrafted free agents and these late round draft picks. And it's shaken out pretty well. So hopefully the Vikings can keep trucking along offensively. They can keep tightening up their defense a little bit, figuring out something that works. And we'll see what happens in San Diego. Well, I guess in Los Angeles.
Thank you, Andrew, for noticing. If the Vikings can hear us bitching and we make a difference, I'm ready to get quesadillas for life. So Taco Bell, get off your ass and help us out. I'll wear a Taco Bell shirt every episode of this show for the rest of time if they give me free quesadillas or Mountain Dew. That's fine.
I'm going to send you Pizza Ranch. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to block you from life, not even Facebook. Don't send me that shit.
You've never even had it. How do you know?
Because everybody has told me how bad it is, especially Adam. Adam's like, don't.
Hey, the chicken isn't bad.
That doesn't mean it's good.
Because it's chicken.
It's hard to mess up fried chicken.
Oh, God.
Right? You fry it.
I do want to stop and thank everyone who's been checking out the Viking Age. We've gotten a lot of really good feedback lately about the articles we've been posting up. We're gonna have some new contributors posting new articles, new ideas, and really just trying to give some knowledge out. Maybe interact with some people about this Vikings team as well as the history, looking forward and back at the franchise. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Meanwhile, over on Undead Walking, I'll be doing some really fun analysis of zombie shows. Of course, right now The Walking Dead is on its season 10 mid-season break. We've got Fear the Walking Dead that got renewed for another season. We've got Ride with Norman Reedus, which got renewed again, which is pretty fun.
What is that?
Grimes movies are coming. Oh, it's basically just a little documentary about Norman Reedus. What he does is he gets some guests and they ride around on motorcycles and tell stories.
I love those formats. You always wonder what celebrities do when they hang out, depending on what you like comedians in cars with Seinfeld. I love that format. That's
a good one.
And Walking Dead World Beyond, the third show in the series. And I'm really excited for this one because so far all the casting, all the teases that I've seen have just made me really excited for all that. I do want to hype a little bit to our listeners that like pro wrestling as much as I do. Tomorrow, which if you're listening to this late, it's probably already out, head on over to the Viking Age. I've got a list of the 10 professional wrestlers who would make the best survivors on The Walking Dead. So yeah, head on over, check that out.
Can I guess? Can I guess 2 of them?
Sure.
I would go with Braun Strowman.
He did not make the list.
To be Braun Strowman. Really? How about Bray Wyatt?
I've got
Bray
him
Wyatt
as an alternate. Actually, he's one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
The reason is that neither of those guys really work well with others.
Well, that's true.
Unless you're Nicholas, and then you can be tag champs.
Let's not talk about that. Tiffany would rather have macaroni and cheese. That's my hot take on that one.
But yeah, that's all I really have. I want to remind the other people. There are 2 other people other than me and Clint that are alive in that the Survival League over on Yahoo. Get your picks in because I'm really excited to see how this is all going to shake out. You weren't going to win anything anyway, Smith.
I know. I just like to complain if you guys haven't noticed. Oh, there you go. Putting everybody's comments on here. That's cool, though. You guys we can have a big Purple People podcast family, you know? We're all friends here. You guys can shoot us friend requests, too, if you're not already on there. I know Scott is. Scott's sending us messages all the time if you're asking about the games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've gotten some pretty good tips from fans of and listeners of the podcast here. I've even gotten some advice on how to keep the ice off my roof of the trailer and just a lot of really cool tips that I probably wouldn't known outside of all that. You guys got any stuff you want to plug?
Nothing that I want to plug. Just everybody be safe. The holidays are coming around. Reach out to your friends. Not doing this as like a sob story or anything because I'm having a great year. Probably the best year of my life so far, honestly. But like I have to work. I can't go home for Christmas. So if you guys want to reach out to your friends and just take 30 seconds out and say hello to everyone. Enjoy your time with your family, your friends, whatever you do during the holidays. Enjoy Vikings football and
enjoy hearing Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" over and over.
What's that?
Enjoy hearing Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" over and over and over.
I know, man. I love these department store songs that I can't get away from for 30 days or more. No, and thanks to everybody for the show. We still, like right now, we've been in almost an hour. There's still 10 people watching. We have a lot of good people that come around. So thanks to everybody that supports the show and just coming in just to gather around for the same thing that we always like. We really do appreciate all you guys. You guys are a lot of fun, and we really appreciate having you here. Oh, sure. What a terrible take. I just said all this thing about loving the family and everything. We're voting Tiffany right off the island. Mac and cheese shouldn't exist.
All right, does that include shells and white cheddar?
You're going to the penalty box, Tiffany. Get out of here with that negativity. We do not need that.
Blocked.
Mac and cheese is delicious. I would swim in a pool of mac and cheese if it were possible.
All right, Mr. West, your chance to plug something.
I think we're good. I don't need to plug anything right now.
Hey, Real Purple and Gold Minnesota, let us shoot us a message on the Facebook page, or if you have us on Facebook individually. If you take pictures and you want us to show them on the next week's show, let us know. That'd be great.
And also let us know what that stadium and that atmosphere is like, because I have no idea what that's like. I got to hear an account of a Lions fan last week with their first visit to US Bank Stadium, and they were just overwhelmed by what that stadium is. And the Skol chant, when he experienced it in person, he was like, that's unbelievable.
Whoever thought of that Skol chant needs a pay raise. That's like the coolest new tradition the Vikings have started. You know that?
You mean the Foles chant?
Yeah.
Oh, God, Eagles fans.
I think that's it. I think we should end the show right there.
Yeah, we got to get out of here before more smack talking about noodles happens. I'm waiting for Mr. Smith to sign us off.
Well, I can't do that. You're here.
No.
You always do the sign off, man. That's your thing.
I can pretend to lose connection and make you do it.
Okay, fine. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to my wonderful co-host here. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we get a win in LA this week. And remember, stay classy, Minnesota.